All right, so I'm going to do this ridiculous thing. Um, I know it's not meaningful in any way, but I've been watching Ken Burns' American Revolution, and I'm in the process of watching it, and I don't know, I like episode 4 or so, and I stopped in the middle of it because I feel like I want to be a patriot, you know? I want to be a patriot. And I think this is a time when this country needs patriots. So my name is Donald Rogers. My name is Donald Irwin Rogers Jr., okay? So I'm saying that because I want to be a patriot. So I'm going to stand up and say what I think needs to be said about this administration. And even though I know that Donald Trump will put me in jail. I mean, he probably won't because nobody's going to see this, okay? But delusions of grandeur there. But I just feel like I have to do it. So um, uh, in this country today, representatives of the federal government wearing masks take people off the street based on, I don't know, some sort of rough visual assessment that they may be immigrants and whisk them away and, in some cases, put them in jail in a foreign country. In America! In America, that's happening. So that, my friends, is an impeachable offense all by itself, okay? I mean, where's due process? I mean, these people are in America. Okay, so maybe they got in an illegal way. I'm not in favor of that, although I know from personal experience that our immigration rules are crazy. My wife's cousin uh, lived in a foreign country. My wife's grandparents lived in a foreign country, and my wife has a cousin there, and we wanted, and she was fairly well off. And anyway, we wanted to see if we could get her into America. She was visiting and on a Thanksgiving, and anyway, we tried to get her in. So the waiting list for her was 17 years. It's not rational, you know. I mean, this is a woman who speaks English. Is it would come to America as a wealthy person, okay, pay taxes like a wealthy person, okay, and be completely law-abiding, and would make a wonderful addition to our community. I mean, I know this woman. She'd be a wonderful addition to the community. She's caring and a great neighbor and a gentle woman. So, I'm not saying we should have an open border. I'm willing to tell you what I think about immigration. It's not really a relevant issue at the moment, but my point is that this administration is doing things that the America I love. I mean, I was thinking about, would I, like the founders, would I give my life, my fortune, and my sacred honor for America? And the answer is not for this one, okay? But before Trump was elected, yes, that America I would proudly give my life, my fortune, and my sacred honor for her. I've always felt completely blessed to be an American. I had a job in which I traveled a lot. I went to a lot of foreign countries, and I never once left this country without being grateful that it was my home country, But and I'll also say this because obviously I'm telling you that as a at least semi-informed citizen, I think it is my duty to say that Trump has to be impeached. He's doing impeachable things every day. I mean, come on. I mean, having masked representatives of the federal government take people off the street and put them in a foreign prison, if that's not impeachable in America, what the hell is impeachable? I mean, come on. And by the way, January 6th was an impeachable offense, okay? And if it weren't for Mitch McConnell, he would have been found guilty and we never would have been in this situation, okay? So that is impeachable. I mean, Donald Trump is going to make the Federal Reserve System his toady. He's going to be another toady in charge of the Federal Reserve System. Do you have any idea what that's going to do to the American dollar? I mean, you probably don't think about the fact, I don't think about the fact, but we all benefit, God knows I benefit, from the fact that the United States dollar is the currency of choice the world over, okay? And it's, when I took Economics 101, I mean, the interest rate on a federal savings bond was the definition of a no-risk investment, So, I mean, the Federal Reserve has to be independent. It has to make its decisions based on data and based on data only. Look, economics, when I was taught, economics is an art, not a science, okay? And, there's some truth to that. I mean, in my opinion, there's some truth to that. But there's no doubt that the Federal Reserve has to be an independent entity and make its decisions based on data only. And it has to be run by people who really are experts in monetary policy, okay? I mean, the world depends on that, okay? The global market depends on that. The US dollar is the backbone of the global economy. So, I mean, even if you're an idiot, you have to know that, right? I mean, come on, look at our debt, we have to pay a price for that debt. It's interest. We pay interest on that fact that people lend us money and buy our bonds. They buy our debt basically for a return, an interest rate return. So, and that has to be as certain can be, okay? And the Federal Reserve Board is responsible for those kinds of things, okay? You can't have that decision made by politics. It doesn't matter whether it's left or right or whatever. You can't have that being done. And listen, I'll tell you, I think Trump's judgment is horrible, okay? I mean, he's screwing up this economy in so many ways. I can't believe the market is doing so well. I'm grateful, okay? I'm retired. I'm 81 years old, okay? So I am living on the stock market, on the assets I have in the stock market. It's what I live on. So I'm very grateful that the market is doing well. I don't understand why it is. I mean, AI bubble, it's not clear to me that is AI going to be a benefit, or is AI going to be enough of a disruptor to really be a problem, like a depression creating problem? I mean, it's not clear. I mean, what happens when there's no jobs to be had? I mean, are we actually going to have a negative income tax? I mean, if we were to do that, I think that is a sustainable economy, okay? Having everybody out of work and dying of starvation, that's not a sustainable situation, okay? So, anyway, I'm very grateful that the stock market is doing well. I have a very negative view of Trump's economic policies, okay? And I'll summarize them for you. The fact that he takes less money from very wealthy people makes no sense to me whatsoever, okay? The marginal rate, right? The rate on the next amount of money that you make, I mean, it should be pretty high after, let's say, $1 million a year. I mean, come on. It's fine. Listen, I don't want to interfere with anybody's ability to become a multi-billionaire. God bless you. God knows I would love to be a multi-billionaire. So, and I tried. I tried. I did my best, and I did fine. But God knows I am very grateful for the fact that I can live as well as I do and not make any money, you know. But I made enough money when I was working that anyway, I'm fine. So financially, I'm fine. But I'm very concerned about the future for many, many reasons. I mean, the tariff regime is a nightmare. I mean, so there's I don't know that I could give you an economic explanation why tariffs are so terrible, but I can tell you this. There was a book written, or published anyway, in 1817, 1817, long time ago, right? And I think it's called The Political Economy of Trade and Taxation. And it's by an economist named Ricardo. Ricardo. Anyway, he pretty much demonstrated, I mean, okay, it's political economy as theory, right? But he pretty much demonstrated, at least to me, that anyone who participates in international trade benefits. So Trump, on the other hand, thinks that if you have a negative balance of trade with a country, they are ripping you off. That country's ripping you off. You're losing. So I read this column by Ezra Klein, or at least an article by Ezra Klein, and I hope I am quoting him faithfully, but I think he reported that a Nobel Prize winning economist, I'm not sure I remember, maybe Solo, I'm not sure I remember. But anyway, this famous economy was asked the question, so how devastating, or something like, how devastating is a trade deficit? And Solo said something like, at least as to the extent I understood it, I have a permanent trade deficit with my barber. I get my hair cut every week, and the barber has never once bought economics from me. So, I guess he's trying to illustrate the point that a trade deficit, I mean, it's a trade deficit. It means you're buying more stuff from that place than they're buying from you. That's what it means. And it's not a bad thing, okay? And, you are getting, obviously, the reason we have a trade deficit is because you want to buy, and you are buying the stuff they're selling here, right? I mean, your life, I'll just give you my view. My life is so much better because of international trade. I mean, I have a lot of luxuries in my life that all of which are involved in international trade, and I'm very grateful for them. And I'm glad that countries can make things as cheaply as they do, cheaper than we can. Okay, so I benefit from it, and so Trump is obviously making it more expensive, and if you recently watched the series on Garfield, right? They're talking about the fact that tariffs in the 1880s was how the federal government got most of its money, right? I think the show claims it's like 3/4 of the revenues of the United States are coming from tariffs. So in the 1880s, I guess that was correct, So the world certainly I have benefited from global trade, and if I were making the decision, I would remove barriers from it. I think I once said in a video like this to Trump. I was pretending that Trump hired me as a consultant because I do management consulting, and which is a complete fantasy, of course. But I was telling him that he amazingly has put the United States in a position to be able to negotiate a zero tariff regime with the world. We couldn't be in a better position to do that. So, I mean, I think what Trump did was wrong and a mistake, but I think he put us in a position where we can really negotiate zero tariffs on U.S. goods and services, and who could ask for more as far as trade is concerned, right? I mean, you know, it's all up to you. No penalties are going to be added to you because you come from America. I mean, that's what American business would want, I would think. I would think. So I think the Federal Reserve issue is a fundamental mistake, and I think it's going to have major repercussions. I think the impact that Trump is having on the labor market with the masked kidnappers that he has put out in our country is I think it's an impeachable offense. I really do. I mean, if that's not impeachable, what the hell is? Okay, but then again, you, Mitch McConnell, said that January 6th wasn't impeachable. Are you kidding? Come on. I mean, in your position as leader of the Senate, I would guess if you personally are not really into the history of the United States, I'm sure you have in your position advisors who could talk to you about how incredibly impeachable the January 6th was. I mean, come on. Insurrection. You don't get much more than that. I mean, that's what the founders were afraid of, right? So, of course, that's impeachable. And I'm not saying you could do that again. If I were king, you could, but because I think it's impeachable. I think the tariffs are a terrible mistake. I think increasing the debt by giving tax breaks to listen, America. Your job should be to make America a place that is worth paying a premium for. Okay, that if you're the headquarters of a internationally successful company, you want them to want to be in America, right? I mean, that should be your policy, right? I mean, if I were in your shoes, that would be my policy, right? I mean, the game here is to benefit the citizens of the United States to the maximum extent you can, right? That's what I think a president's job is, okay? I also, by the way, don't get your whole political philosophy. I don't understand it. I mean, I became a Republican in high school. I became a Republican in high school because I believed in merit, like all upper middle class white males. I believed merit was everything. You should not do things that get in the way of merit, right? You should be able to become who you can become, right? So anyway, that's what attracted me to the Republican Party, and I sort of viewed Republicans as viewing that. I mean, I think the sort of gross idea of small government doesn't make sense to me. I mean, certainly making government as efficient as possible makes sense to me. But my Republican philosophy would be to maximize every citizen's pursuit of pleasure, I'll say. Okay, I think I'm not a very articulate person, so I'll just say I'll mention this crazy 19th century economist who had this idea. Jeremy Bentham was his name. He had this idea of trying to measure pleasure. Like you should be able to, if something makes you happy and something else makes you happier, there should be some way to, measure that. So he came up with this idea of utils, UTIL, like utilization, I guess, sort of thing, utils. And so, the idea is that two utils are worth more than one util, right? You're happier, you're more satisfied, however you want to view positive experience. So I think the role of government should be to maximize everybody's utils, all citizens' utils, right? So, I mean, I think that's a sensible ideal. And, as I said, I think watching the American Revolution in particular, I mean, it's amazing what people did in that time in order to create. I can't capture what Adams said, but it's something like to make the best government human wisdom can make. Something like that. And to me, I think that's what America was. I mean, I've always been super proud to be an American. I've always taken being an American seriously. I was taught that if you're a citizen, you have to stay informed and you have to vote. Okay, and I know a very small portion of Americans vote, which is amazing. I think Australia has it right. If you don't vote, you pay a fine. You got to vote. That's the law. You're a citizen, you should have to vote. Just like you have to pay taxes. So taxation without representation was a big deal at one time in this country. So vote. Okay. So anyway, I'm ranting about Trump, and I guess I really feel seriously that this man is ruining the country. I mean, look at what the hell Kennedy is doing. I mean, we have measles in this country. We have measles. It's 2025. Right? We ended measles like in the 1990s, or I don't know when, but we had eliminated it, and it's coming back, and so is a lot of more things. You know what I mean? Because we have an idiot responsible for health and services, and the federal government plays a big role in health and making the country healthy and safe. And Kennedy is not the man for that job. I think the whole Republican Congress should be impeached for not. I think you could sue. I would like to sue them for not doing advice and consent. Okay, you can't tell me that those smart people. I mean, they're representatives and senators. I mean, they're not they're not trailer trash here. I mean, these people know what the hell are supposed to know what the hell they're doing. You telling me you're okay with what's going on here? I mean, we're killing people in boats in the Caribbean and off the coast of Venezuela without any evidence whatsoever. We're killing them. And that seems okay with you. You guys are fine with that. I mean, come on, this is America. It used to be. Before you guys got in control, this was America. That could not happen, okay? That could not happen. But, it's certainly not true that MAGA is trying to take the country back to the 50s. That is absolutely not true. None of what's going on would have survived the 50s. The American populace was intolerant of the kind of really vulgar and reckless statements that come out of this administration. I mean, in the 50s, none of this would have gone on. Hey, listen, I'm old. I was in the 50s. I was born before the 50s. When I was born, World War II had 2 years to go. Okay, so so yeah, my father served. Okay, so he wasn't a draft dodger. He served, and I think he worked for the Stars and Stripes, and he was stationed in Florida. So. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. I don't get, I guess where I was going is I don't really understand the foundational ideology of Trump's view of the universe. I don't get it. And that's certainly true for global politics. I mean, Trump is Chamberlain, right? I mean, look what he's doing with Ukraine. I mean, whatever happened to teaching people about Neville Chamberlain, right? What happened to that? I mean, in the 50s, that would have been the headline of every newspaper. And in the 50s, people read newspapers, okay? Right? Trump, gives up large parts of Ukraine to Putin after he invades the country. Come on, if that's not worse than Neville Chamberlain, then what the hell is, okay? I've tremendously value Pax Americana. I mean, to me, the world was situated beautifully for American citizens like me, okay? So, I mean, I'm a big NATO fan. I mean, if I were president, I would call in the right people. Let's say the chief of the Army and Navy and Air Force and Secretary of Defense, I guess, or Secretary of War. Now we're going to go back to that. That's what it was originally, right? So anyway, I think if I what I was saying is, if I were king, I would say to American military might, Ukraine has to win this war, okay? And you have to make that happen, okay? And I don't mean with American bodies, okay? I mean with American smarts, American technology, American planning, intelligence, all of the help we can possibly give them, right? Because I would have no problem looking Putin in the eye and saying, you cannot invade another country. It's not okay. Not okay. And I'm not going to compromise with you on that, okay? If the international borders are not sacrosanct, what the hell is this world we're living in going to be like? I mean, it's not right. We can't allow it. If we, it's stupid. It's like we'd never heard of World War II. It's what the hell. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, all right. So on immigration, why don't we be smart about immigration, right? Like, we need a whole lot of immigrants. We need them in the agricultural industry. We need them in the hospitality industry. We need them, they're in lawn service and in painting, and they do all kinds of work that we need done. Okay, and I'll bet you, if the labor department, if the labor statistics people were given the assignment of figuring out how many people we need in those industries, even if they're seasonal or whatever, and it made it easy so that the people running those businesses could hire based on merit. They have a big enough pool of people to hire based on merit. I mean, that wouldn't that be a good thing? I mean, anyway, I think there's no doubt that our immigration policy of the United States is broken. I mean, right? Everybody says it all the time, and there are people a lot smarter than me who could figure out how to fix that problem. And why the hell aren't we fixing it? And why is it okay for, I think for MAGA, not for all Republicans. I still think of myself as Republican, okay? So, but I'm a never Trumper, okay? That's for sure, because I think the guy is completely wrong. I think his view of our position in the world is wrong. I think his goals, economic goals, are at best naive. I mean, you can't bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States in terms of putting a large labor force to work, because you don't use large labor forces anymore to make automobiles or to manufacture most things. Most things, it's automation, not immigration, that ended the manufacturing jobs. So at least that's what I was taught when I was in school. Anyway, I think I don't agree with Trump's decision making, and I believe that there are things he is doing. I think the blowing up the boats is an impeachable offense. I think the masked ICE removals without due process is impeachable. I think January 6th was impeachable. Okay, I mean, he does impeachable things all the time. So I think not spending money that Congress has authorized. Why isn't that impeachable? I mean, if Trump were running a nonprofit, wouldn't the board remove him from office for failing to pursue the mission of the nonprofit? I mean, I think it's impeachable. I think he does so many things that I think are impeachable. I mean, I think I think he should be impeached. I think he should be impeached. I think we need a couple Republicans here. What happened to individual freedom? When did individual freedom become intolerance? I'm only free if I don't have to admit there are gay people in the world, right? I mean, I can't think that gay is a part of species. It is. They're just people, and why do you want to infringe on their freedom? I don't get it. If it's some way, okay, so I buy into 100%. My freedom to throw my fist ends at the point of your nose, right? The political science example. I agree they can't hurt you, but if they're not hurting you, why do you want to mess with them? Why do you want to limit their freedom in some way? They're people. They're citizens, right? All citizens should be treated the same way, right? All citizens should be treated the same way. I mean, look who's talking, right? I'm a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, right? My family has always been very proud of being a Mayflower descendants. So I've had every advantage that WASPs have, I mean, I'm old enough that people were still doing that, I mean, when I was coming up through the ranks, if a black woman and I were exactly qualified exactly the same for a job, I would get that job because I'm a white male. So I would have gotten that job. Whereas today, I think the reverse is true, right? The black woman would get the job. So she's equally qualified. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, what's wrong with that? By the way, I would say, as somebody who went through, getting female executives to work with, they really are great. They really are great. They I love the way they think. And anyway, they were wonderful contributors to. At least to the management teams I was involved in. In fact, I would say diversity. um, has merit. That in fact decision making improves when the participants in the decision are more diverse. I mean, at least that's my experience. I mean, I think that's the case. So anyway, I'm telling you that I am risking my life, my fortune, and my sacred honor to tell you that as a what I view myself to be an informed citizen of the United States and a patriot, I am telling you, I think we have to impeach Donald Trump, get him the hell out of there, and let's get all those crony toadies out of there too. I mean, most of our departments are being run by incompetent people because their criteria by which they were hired was, when I say jump, you jump, right? You know, when I say lie, you lie. Yeah, right? I mean, that's why is it okay to say that the 2020 election was stolen? I mean, I think MAGA people think that's free speech, that they need to be able to say that the 2020 election was stolen, and otherwise they're not free. That's not free speech, okay? I mean, I was taught free speech. You can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater because it does harm. People are going to get hurt trampling each other, going out of the. So anyway, free speech has limitations, and I think selling a lie as if it were true, particularly if you're a person of influence, should be illegal. It should be against the law. If you're in media so that you have a wide audience of people who are going to hear that, I think there have to be rules, just like there were when television first started, right? I mean, I can remember when we used to make that a lot of comedians made fun of the television rules towards the end of that era, and they were actually pretty funny. But I think Congress, wake the hell up. It shouldn't be okay for social media platforms to take you down an ever increasingly emotional path purposefully because it makes more clicks. That should not be legal, right? For me, John Maynard Keynes proved that you can't optimize capitalism without regulation, okay? So it's the government's job to regulate business, okay? I mean, for me, it's just fact, right? The business is about profit, period, right? So, I mean, certainly you want to stay within the law, right? I mean, ideally you want it to stay within the law. Now, if you are an open Trump supporter, especially maybe giving money, but if you have a following and you're an avid Trump supporter, you could probably get away with almost anything, and you'll be pardoned. So, But anyway, I think Trump has done many impeachable things. I think the founders would have impeached him like that, okay? There's no doubt in my mind that the second or third or fourth missile that, or whatever kind of ordnance was used to blow up that boat, those last 3 shots, that's not against the law. What the hell are we doing? That's the American military. You know what I mean? America, we're the good guys. Remember? We used to be. Before Trump, we were the good guys, okay? So we need to be the good guys again. You need to get Trump the hell out of there, okay? So I'm just saying that as a patriot, okay? So, if I'm in jail, which very unlikely, because who the hell's going to watch this, right? But anyway, that's my message. Impeach Trump.